This happened when I was like 14. My father and I were staying at my aunt's house one night. It was a new house that they had just built and moved into a couple of months back. I found this part out later, getting straight up to the time when everything took a tragic turn, making our lives like a living hell. My aunt was having crazy sinister dreams, where a little boy would appear in her dreams every night. She would wake up every night screaming as if she saw a demon with her own eyes. She explained those dreams as a very bright light outside the house that shone through the windows to the point where she couldn't see anything outside. And then a little boy would appear, and it turned into a demonic creature just like that. After that, my aunt started behaving abnormally. She was often found unconscious on the bathroom floor, living room, and even the garage one time. Everyone assumed my aunt was sleepwalking, but the truth was far more terrifying. That night at about 2 a.m. or so, everyone heard this loud screaming coming from the upstairs living room. As we ran upstairs, we saw my aunt's son Jack, who was about 2 years younger than me, sitting in a rocking chair, and my aunt was screaming behind him. She was freaked out. Jack's back was towards us, and he was continuously laughing in an old man's voice, along with the chair moving back and forth aggressively. So my dad and uncle walked over to him and went to see what was wrong. My uncle touched his shoulder, and he turned his head around, and it was bright red. His eyes were bloodshot. His skin was starting to turn this weird grayish color, and I still remember his teeth were black as if he drank black ink. When they tried to ask him what was wrong, he started speaking in this weird gibberish that we later found out was Latin. Jack was often caught doing pranks, so my uncle wanted him to stop and went to grab him out of the chair. We all were afraid to look at this scene. I tried to run out of the room and lock myself in another room, but my father stopped me. He knew it wasn't safe to be alone right now in this house. I think he knew what was happening there. He told me to stand by him and stay in this room till he was there. Then my uncle signaled my father to go near Jack and get a hold of him. They approached him fearfully, and as my uncle touched him on his shoulder, he let out a menacing scream and started shouting something loudly in the same dense voice, and his eyes started to roll back into the back of his head. We were all freaking out at this point, not knowing what to do. My aunt ran outside the room to get a glass of water. She thought that Jack was not in his right mind, or maybe he had some drug mistakenly, or he might be sleepwalking. She quickly came back with a glass of water in her hand and went near Jack saying, "Jack, look at me. I am your mom, Jack." She sprinkled water on him while saying it, but on the other hand, Jack began to growl even more and his voice changed as well. He started staring into the eyes of my aunt and laughed in this terrifying deep voice while looking at her. My aunt was a pretty religious woman. She would keep crosses, angel statues, and even holy water in the house. So she ran back downstairs to get the holy water because, at this point, we realized something very weird was going on. My dad and uncle grabbed him out of the chair and held him on the floor. He was kicking and trying to fight them the whole time. My aunt brought over the holy water and rubbed it on her hands. She told me to lift up Jack's shirt while he was being held down, and my aunt placed her hand on his back. It literally started burning him. I could see the smoke rising above. It left a burn mark the exact size of her hand on his back. He screamed and cried for a couple of seconds before he ended up passing out. I was just staring at all this, absolutely terrified, not moving, and just kind of absorbing all of this happening. So he passed out, and not knowing what to do, they called the police. It was probably around 3 a.m. at this point, so the police came with paramedics and talked to us all, while the paramedics checked out Jack to see if he was okay. He woke up after some time, and they said that he was fine, except for the burn mark on his back. Not knowing what to do, the police officer unofficially recommended to call a priest who lived just a few blocks away, so nobody ended up going to bed at all that night. Jack was in his room while all of us were sitting in the lounge when we heard someone giggling. Those giggles turned into loud, scary roars of laughter within a moment, and it was coming from Jack's room. All of a sudden, there was a knock on the door, and it was the priest. Apparently, priest knew what the house was about before he even stepped foot in there. As he got in, the door to Jack's room slammed open and he started screaming, "Get out of here, you filthy human!" All of us were just standing there as the priest stepped into the room. Most of you might not believe it, but I saw with my own eyes that the priest was seemingly propelled through the air by an unseen force and was slammed into the wall. He raised his head while on the floor and said, "Leave the house or it will kill you all." As he said it, Jack got up from his bed abnormally and started approaching the priest, walking like a spider. He got to his neck and bit his throat open. We saw him die in front of our eyes, as Jack's cruel laughter seemed to mock us standing there. Right at that moment, we saw the sun rising from the window and Jack fell on the floor unconscious again. Police were called again, and we left the place immediately to our home. The very next day, we got a call from the police that they left Jack at his place along with my aunt and uncle. But when they got back, both my uncle and aunt were found dead on the couch with their throats slit open. And even more horrifying news was that Jack was nowhere to be seen. To this day, I really don't have many details beyond what I was told, but that night still haunts me beyond belief.